Shalom, shalom. Today will be Ezekiel 16 through 20. Again, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, make known to Jerusalem her abominations, and say, Thus said the Master Yahweh to Jerusalem, Your origin and your birth are from the land of Canaan. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother a Hittite. As for your birth, on the day you were born, your navel cord was not cut, nor were you washed in water for cleansing, and you were not rubbed with salt at all, nor wrapped in cloth at all. Nor no eye felt sorry for you, to do any of these for you, to have compassion on you. But you were thrown out into the open field, to the loathing of your life on the day you were born. Then I passed by you, and saw you trampled down in your own blood. And I said to you in your blood, Live. And I said to you in your blood, Live. I have let you grow like a plant in the field, and you are grown and are great, and you come in the finest ornaments. Breasts were formed, your hair grew, and you were naked and bare. Again I passed by you and looked upon you, and saw that your time was the time of carnal love. And I spread the corner of my garment over you, and covered your nakedness. And I swore an oath to you, and entered into a covenant with you. And you became mine, declares the Master Yahweh. And I washed you in water, and I washed off your blood, and I anointed you with oil. And I dressed you in embroidered work, and gave you sandals of leather. And I wrapped you in fine linen, and covered you with silk. And I adorned you with ornaments, and I put bracelets on your wrist, and a chain on your neck. And I put a ring on your nose, and earrings in your ears, and a crown of adorning on your head. Thus you were adorned with gold and silver, and your dress was of fine linen, and silk, and embroidered cloth. You ate fine flour and honey, and oil, and you were exceedingly beautiful, and became fit for royalty. And your name went out among the nations because of your loveliness, for it was perfect, by my splendor which I had put on you, declares the Master Yahweh. But you trusted in your own loveliness, and whored because of your name, and poured out your whorings on everyone passing by who would have had it. Who would have it? Why am I trying to throw extra words in there? And you took some golly, man. Why am I doing that? Stop it. I rebuke that. And you took some of your garments, and made multicolored high places for yourselves, and whored on them, which should not have come about, nor shall it be. And you took your splendid adornments of my gold and my silver that I gave you, and made for yourself images of a male, and whored with him. And you took your embroidered garments, and covered them, and you set my oil and my incense before them. And my food which I gave you, fine flour, and oil, and honey, which I fed you, you set it before them as sweet incense. And so it was, declares the Master Yahweh. And you took your sons and your daughters, whom you bore to me, and these you slaughtered as food to them. Were your whorings a small matter, that you have slain my children and gave them up to them gave them up to them by causing them to pass through the fire? And in all your abominations and whorings you did not remember the days of your youth, when you were naked and bare, trampled down in your blood. Then it came to be, after all your evil, woe to you, declares the Master Yahweh, that you also built an arched place for yourselves, and made a high place in every street for yourselves. You built your high places at the head of every way, and made your loveliness to be loathed. And you parted your feet to everyone who passed by, and increased your whorings. And you whored with the sons of Mitzrayim, your neighbors, great of flesh, and you increased your whorings to provoke me. And see, I have stretched out my hand against you, and withdrew what is lawfully yours, and gave you up to the desire of those who hate you. Excuse me. The daughters of the Philistines, who are ashamed of your wicked way. And you whored with the sons of Ashur without being satisfied. And you whored with them and still were not satisfied. And you increased your whorings as far as the land of traders, Kasdema, and even then you were not satisfied. How weak is your heart, declares the Master Yahweh, seeing you do all this, the deeds of a shameless whore. You built your arched place at the head of every way, and built your high place in every street. Yet you were unlike a whore. You scorned a harlot fee, the wife who commits adultery, who takes strangers instead of her husband. To all whores they give gifts, but you gave gifts to all your lovers, and bribed them to come to you from all around in your whorings. Thus you are different from other women in your whorings, because no one whores after you, and in you giving a harlot fee, while a harlot fee was not given to you. Thus you are different. Therefore, O whore, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said the Master Yahweh, because your copper was poured out and your nakedness uncovered in your whorings, with your lovers, and with the idols of your abominations, and because of the blood of your children which you gave to them, therefore see, I am gathering all your lovers with whom you took pleasure, all those you loved, with all those you hated, and I shall gather them from all around against you, and shall uncover your nakedness to them, and they shall see all your nakedness, and I shall judge you with judgments of adulterousness and shedders of blood, and I shall bring on you the blood of wrath and jealousy, and I shall give you into their hand, and they shall throw your arched place down, and they shall break down your high places, and they shall strip you of your garments, and they shall take your splendid adornments, and leave you naked and bare. And they shall bring up an assembly against you, and they shall stone you as stones, and thrust you throughout with their swords, and burn your houses with fire, and execute judgments on you before the eyes of many women. And I shall make you stop whoring, and no longer give harlot fees. So I shall bring my wrath to rest upon you, and my jealousy shall turn away from you, and I shall be calm and no longer be vexed, because you did not remember the days of your youth, but troubled me with all this. So see, I shall also bring your way. I shall also bring your way on your head, declares the Master Yahweh. And I shall not do this. And I shall not do this thought. Yep, THOUGHT, thought. And I shall not do this thought for all your abominations. See, all who use proverbs shall use this proverb against you, like mother, like daughter. You are your mother's daughter, who despises your husband and her children, and you are the sister of your sisters, who despises their husband and their children. Your mother was a Hittite, and your father an Amorite. And your elder sister is Shomeron, she and her daughters, whose dwelling in the north of you, and your younger sister, who is dwelling in the south of you, in Sedom and her daughters. And have you not walked in their ways, and did according to their abominations? But in all your ways you soon become more corrupt than they. As I live, declares the Master Yahweh, neither your sister Sodom nor her daughters have done as you and your daughters have done. See, this was the crookedness of your sister Sodom. She and her daughter had pride, sufficiency of bread, and unconcerned ease. And she did not help the poor and needy, and they were haughty and did abomination before me. And I took them away when I saw it. And Shomeron did not commit half of your sins, but you have increased your abominations more than they. And by all the abominations which you have done, you made your sisters seem righteous. You also, who pleaded for your sisters, bear your own shame, because the sins which you committed were more abominable than their sins. They are more righteous than you. So be ashamed too, and bear your own shame, because you have made your sisters seem righteous. And I shall turn back their captivity, the captivity of Sodom and her daughters, and the captivity of Shomeron and her daughters, and the captivity of your captives with them, so that you bear your shame, and shall blush for all that you did when you comforted them. And your sisters, Sodom and her daughters, return to their former state, and Shomeron and her daughters return to their former state, and you and your daughters return to your former state. Was not your sister Sodom a byword in your mouth in the days of your pride? Before your evil was exposed, as the time of the reproach of the daughters of Aram and all who were around her, and of the daughters of the Philistines, who are despising you everywhere, who are despising you everywhere. You shall bear your wickedness and your abominations, declares Yahweh. For thus said the Master Yahweh, I shall deal with you as you have done, and that you have despised the oath by breaking the covenant. But I shall remember my covenant with you in the days of your youth, and I shall establish an everlasting covenant with you. And you shall remember your ways and be ashamed when you receive your older and your younger sisters. And I shall not give them to you for daughters, though not by your own covenant. And I myself shall establish my covenant with you, and you shall know that I am Yahweh, so that you remember, and you shall be ashamed, and never open your mouth any more because of your shame, when I pardon you for all you have done, declares the Master Yahweh. Yeah, when you think about it, you shall be ashamed and never open your mouth anymore because of your shame. Personally, it can be difficult to speak on certain things because of shame. Yeah. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, put forth a riddle, and speak a parable to the house of Israel. And you shall say, Thus said the Master Yahweh, the great eagle with large wings of long pinions, covered with feathers of various colors, came to Lebanon and took the top of the cedar. He plucked off the topmost of its young twigs and brought it to a land of traders. In a city of merchants he placed it. He also took some of the seed of the land and planted it in a field for seed. He took it by many waters, set it like a willow tree. So it grew and became a low, spreading vine. Its branches turned toward him, and its roots were under it. And it became a vine, and brought forth branches, and sent out shoots. And there was another great eagle with large wings and many feathers. And see, this vine bent its root toward him, and stretched its branches toward him, to water it, away from the beds where it was planted. It was planted in a good field by many waters, to bring forth branches, and to bear fruit, to be a splendid vine. Thus said the Master Yahweh. Is it going to thrive? Is he not going to pull up its roots, and cut off its fruit, and let it wither? All of its sprouting leaves wither, without great power or many people to pluck it up by its roots. See, it is planted. Is it growing? Is it going to thrive? Would it not utterly wither when the east wind touches it? Wither in the beds where it grows? And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Please say to the rebellious house, Do you not know what these mean? Say, see, the sovereign of Babel went to Jerusalem and took the sovereign and heads and brought them with him to Babel. And he took one of the royal seed and made a covenant with him and put him under oath. And he took away the mighty of the land, so that the rain would be brought low and not lift itself up, but guard his covenant that it might stand. But he rebelled against him by sending his messengers to Mitzrayim to give him horses and many people. Shall he thrive? Shall he escape? Who is doing these? And shall he break a covenant and still escape? As I live, declares the Master Yahweh, in the place where the sovereign dwells, who set him up to reign, whose oath he despised and whose covenant he broke, With him in the midst of Babel, he shall die. And Pharaoh, with his great army and great company, is not going to help him in battle when they heap up a siege mound and build a wall to cut off many beings. And he despised the oath by breaking the covenant. And see, he has given his hand, and he has done all this. He is not going to escape. Therefore thus said the Master Yahweh, as I live, my oath which he has despised, and my covenant which he has broken, shall I not put it on his own head? And I shall spread my net over him, and he shall be taken in my snare, and I shall bring him to Babel, and enter into judgment with him therefore, for the trespass which he committed against me. And all his fugitives with all his bands fall by the sword, and those who are left be scattered to every wind. And you shall know that I, Yahweh, have spoken. Thus said the Master Yahweh, and I shall take of the top of the highest cedar and set it out, and I myself shall pluck off a tender one from the topmost of its young twigs, and plant it on a high and lofty mountain. On the mountain height of Israel I plant it, and I shall bring forth branches and bear fruit, and become a big cedar, and under it shall dwell birds of every wing. In the shadow of its branches they shall dwell. And all the trees of the field shall know that I, Yahweh, have brought down the high tree and exalted the low tree, dried up the green tree and made the dry tree flourish. I, Yahweh, have spoken and shall do it. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, What do you mean when you use this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are blunted? As I live, declares the Master Yahweh, you shall no longer use this proverb in Israel. See, all beings are mine. The being of the Father, as well as the being of the Son, is mine. This being that is sinning shall die. But if a man is righteous, and shall do right ruling and righteousness, if he has not eaten on the mountains, nor lifted his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, nor defiled his neighbor's wife, nor comes near a woman during her uncleanness, if he does not oppress anyone, does return to the debtor his pledge, does not commit robbery, does give his bread to the hungry, and covers the naked with a garment, if he does not lend on interest or take increase, turns back his hand from unrighteousness, executes right ruling and truth between man and man, if he walks in my laws, and he has guarded my right rulings in truth, he is righteous. He shall certainly live, declares the Master Yahweh. It's been a while since we got a definition update of righteousness. Newsflash, it's the same. If he walks in my laws, and he has guarded my right rulings and truth, he is righteous. That's righteousness. Tracking like a tank. But if he has brought forth a son who is a robber or a shedder of blood, who does any of these, whereas he himself did not do any of these, that also he has eaten on the mountains or defiled his neighbor's wife, if he has oppressed the poor and needy, has committed robbery, he does not return a pledge, has lifted his eyes to the idols, or did abomination, if he has lent on interest or taken increase, shall he live? He shall not live. If he has done any of these abominations, he shall certainly die. His blood is upon him. But see, if he has brought forth a son who sees all the sins which his father has done, but he fears and does not do likewise, he has not eaten on the mountains, and has not lifted his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, has not defiled his neighbor's wife, has not oppressed anyone, nor withheld a pledge, nor committed robbery, has given his bread to the hungry, and covered the naked with a garment, turns back his hand from wronging the poor, and he has not taken increase or not taken interest or increase, has executed my right rulings and walked in my laws, he shall not die for the crookedness of his father. He shall certainly live. His father his father, because he used oppression, robbed his brother, and did what is not good among his people. See, he shall die for his crookedness. And you said, why should the son not bear the crookedness of the father? But the son has done right ruling and righteousness. He has guarded all my laws, and he has done them. And he does them, and he does them, actively doing them. He shall certainly live. The being who sins shall die. The son shall not bear the crookedness of the father, nor the father bear the crookedness of the son. The righteousness of the righteous is upon himself, and the wrongness of the wrong is upon himself. But the wrong, if he turns from all his sins which he has done, and he shall guard all my laws. So if he repents, he shall guard all my laws, and shall do right ruling and righteousness. He shall certainly live. He shall not die. All the transgressions which he has done shall not be remembered against him. In his righteousness that he has done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure in the death of the wrong? Declares the Master Yahweh. Is it not that he should turn from his ways and live? But when a righteous one turns away from his righteousness and does unrighteousness, according to all the abominations that the wrong one has done, shall he live. All his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered, for his trespass which he has committed, and for his sin which he has committed. For them he shall die. This implies that when a righteous one turns, so someone who's already doing this stuff, right? So when you stop doing this stuff and start going against the grain, I don't know, I feel like, turning away, the kingdom of heaven isn't fit for anybody who turns away from the plow or turns back from the plow or whatever. Basically, once you start doing this stuff, you can't give it up. And if you do, it's bad, as he just stated. But for me, I don't know, man. It's hard to see how one could turn from this. But anyway, what I was going to say, my daddy always taught me all it takes is one shit to mess up all them attaboys. And that's basically what he just said right there. And you said, the way of Yahweh is not right. Hear now, O house of Israel. Is my way not right? Is it not your ways that are not right? When a righteous one turns away from his unrighteousness and does unrighteousness, and he dies in it, is it because of his unrighteousness which he has done? It is because of his unrighteousness which he has done that he dies. And when the wrong turns away from the wrong which he has done, and he does right ruling and righteousness, he keeps himself alive. Because he sees and turns away from all the transgressions which he has done. He shall certainly live, he shall not die. And the house of Israel have said, the way of Yahweh is not right. Are my ways not right, O house of Israel? Is it not your ways that are not right? Therefore I judge you, O house of Israel, every one according to his ways, declares the Master Yahweh. Repent, and turn back from all your transgressions, and let not crookedness be a stumbling block to you. Cast away from you all the transgressions by which you have transgressed, and make for yourselves a new heart and a new spirit. For why would you die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of one who dies, declares the Master Yahweh. So turn back and live. Oh, man. Oh, dude, Ezekiel 18 is fire. Oh, I want to take us to Romans 11 and show us how we are the children of Israel. But anyway, I'm not going to go there. We'll keep reading. 19. And take up a lamentation for the leaders of Israel. And you shall say, What a lioness was your mother among the lions! She lay down among the lions, in the midst of the young lions she reared her cubs. And she brought up one of her cubs, and he became a young lion. And he learned to tear the prey. He devoured men. The nations heard of him. He was caught in their pit, and they brought him with chains to the land of Mitzrayim. When she saw, as she waited, that her expectancy was lost, she took another of her cubs and made him a young lion. And he went about among the lions and became a young lion, and he learned to tear prey. He devoured men. And he knew their widows, and laid waste their cities, and the land and all who filled it was stunned by the noise of the roaring. The nations set against him from the provinces on every side, and spread their net over him. He was caught in the pit, and they put him in a cage in chains, and brought him to the sovereign of Babel. They brought him in nets, so his roar was no longer heard on the mountains of Israel. Your mother was like a vine in your vineyard, planted by the waters, a bearer of fruit and branching, because of many waters. And she had strong rods for scepters of rulers. And her stature was exalted among the thick branches, and was seen in her height with the mass of its branches. But she was uprooted with wrath. She was cast down to the ground, and the east wind dried her fruit. Her strong rods were broken and withered. Fire consumed them. And now she is planted in the wilderness, in a dry and thirsty land. And fire went out from a rod of her branches. It devoured her fruit, so that she has no strong rod, a scepter to rule. This is a lament, and it shall be a lament. And it came to be in the 7th year of the 5th moon, on the 12th of the new moon, that certain of the elders of Israel came to inquire of Yahweh, and sat before me. I'm going to get a sip, because I got just enough. There we go. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the elders of Israel, and say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, Have you come to inquire of me? As I live, I am not being inquired of by you, declares the Master Yahweh. Woo! He's mad. He's big mad. Judge them, son of man. Judge them. Make known to them the abominations of their fathers. And you shall say to them, Thus said the Master Yahweh, On the day when I chose Israel, and lifted my hand in an oath to the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known to them in the land of Mitzrayim, I lifted my hand in an oath to them, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim. On that day I lifted my hand in an oath to them, to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim into a land I had searched out for them, flowing with milk and honey, and splendor of all lands, the splendor of all lands. And I said to them, Each one of you throw away the abominations which are before his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. But they rebelled against me, and would not obey me. All of them did not throw away the abominations which were before their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Mitzrayim. So I resolved to pour out my wrath on them to complete my displeasure against them in the midst of the land of Mitzrayim. But I acted for my name's sake, that I should not be profaned before the eyes of the nations among whom they were, before whose eyes I had made myself known to them, to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim. So I took them out of the land of Mitzrayim, and I brought them into the wilderness, and I gave them my laws, and showed them my right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And I also gave them my Sabbaths, to be a sign between them and me, to know that I am Yahweh, who sets them apart. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my laws, and they rejected my right rulings, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And they greatly profaned my Sabbaths. Then I said I would pour out my wrath on them in the wilderness, to consume them. But I acted for my name's sake, not to profane it before the nations, before whose eyes I had brought them out. And I myself also lifted my hand in an oath to them in the wilderness, not to bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, the splendor of all lands. Because they rejected my right rulings, and did not walk in my laws, and they profaned my Sabbaths. For their heart went after their idols, and my eye pardoned them from destroying them, and I did not make an end of them in the wilderness. And I said to their children in the wilderness, do not walk in the laws of your fathers, nor observe their rulings, nor defile yourselves with their idols. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Walk in my laws, and guard my right rulings, and do them. And set apart my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, to know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim. But the children rebelled against me. They did not walk in my laws and my right rulings, and they did not guard to do them, which if a man does, he shall live by them. They profaned my Sabbaths, so I resolved to pour out my wrath on them to complete my displeasure against them in the wilderness. But I held back my hand and acted for my name's sake, not to profane it before the eyes of the nations, before whose eyes I had brought them out. Also, I myself lifted my hand in an oath to those in the wilderness, to scatter them among the nations and disperse them throughout the lands, because they had not done my right rulings, and they rejected my laws, and they profaned my Sabbaths, and their eyes were on their fathers' idols. And I also gave them up to laws that were not good, and right rulings by which they would not live. And I defiled them by their own gifts, as they passed all their firstborn through the fire, so that I might stun them, so that they know that I am Yahuwah. Therefore, Son of Man, speak to the house of Israel, and you shall say to them, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, in this your fathers have further reviled me by committing trespass against me. When I brought them into the land of which I had lifted my hand in an oath to give them, and they saw all the high hills and all the thick trees, they slaughtered their slaughterings there, and provoked me with their offerings there. And they sent up their sweet fragrance, and poured out their drink offerings there. And I said to them, What is this high place to which you go? So its name is called High Place to this day. Therefore say to the house of Israel, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, Are you defiling yourselves in the way of your fathers? And do you whore after their abominations? For when you lift up your gifts and make your sons pass through the fire, you defile yourselves with your idols, even to this day. And shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Israel? As I live, declares the Master Yahuwah, I am not being inquired of by you. And what comes up in your spirit shall never be. When you say, Let us be like the nations, like the tribes in other lands, serving wood and stone. As I live, declares the Master Yahuwah, do not I, with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out, reign over you? And I shall bring you out from the peoples, and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples, and shall enter into judgment with you face to face there. As I entered into judgment with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim, so I shall enter into judgment with you, declares the Master Yahuwah. And I shall make you pass under the rod, and shall bring you into the bond of the covenant, and purge the rebels from among you, and those who transgress against me from the land where they sojourn. I bring them out, but they shall not come into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. As for you, O house of Israel, thus said the Master Yahuwah, Go, serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me, but do not, Go, serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me, Okay, I think I get it, right? Because with commas, we should be able to take out words and it still make a complete and proper sentence. So basically, if we take out and afterwards, go serve each of you, go serve each of you his idols, if you are not listening to me. The and afterwards is more like a and so on and forevermore. Like you just keep on trucking, doing what you're doing if you're not going to listen. Because basically he's like he's like, listen, you've known what to do from the jump. Quit being stiff-necked people. Quit being hard-headed stiff-necks. Go, serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me. But do not profane my set-apart name any more with your gifts and your idols. For on my set-apart mountain, on the mountain height of Israel, declares the Master Yahweh, there all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, shall serve me. There I shall accept them, and there I shall require your offerings and the first fruits of your offerings, together with all your set-apart gifts. As a sweet fragrance, I shall accept you when I bring you out from the peoples, and I shall gather you out of the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall be set apart in you before the nations. And you shall know that I am Yahweh when I bring you into the land of Israel, into the land of which I lifted my hand in an oath to give to your fathers. And there you shall remember your ways and all your deeds, with which you were defiled, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own sight because of all the evils that you did. And you shall know that I am Yahweh when I have dealt with you for my name's sake, not according to your evil ways, nor according to your corrupt deeds, O house of Israel, declares the Master Yahweh. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face toward the south, and drop word against the south, and prophesy against the forest land, the south. And you shall say to the forest of the south, Hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said the Master Yahweh, See, I am kindling a fire in you, and it shall devour every green tree and every dry tree in you. The blazing flame is not quenched, and it shall burn all faces from the south to the north. And all flesh shall see that I, Yahweh, have kindled it. It is not quenched. And I said, Ha, Master Yahweh, they are saying of me, Is he not speaking parables? Okay. Oh, hold on. I think I get what he's saying in this sense, because we're not going to keep going, but I think you get what he's saying, because he's like, because even we're like, dude, what is he talking about? Or I am anyway. Like where, like when, where is he talking about? Because like all this stuff has already happened, right? Like we're in exile, right? Right? I don't know. I don't know. I also had a thought there while I was reading. Maybe Ezekiel is from Israel and not Judah. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more clarification as we press on. But anyway, today we got an update on righteousness. It didn't change. Ezekiel 18 is pretty fire, in my opinion. Turn back and live. Turn, repent, teshuva. What are we turning from? What are we turning back to? If he walks in my laws, and he has guarded my right rulings in truth, he is righteous, and he shall certainly live. Can we do all these things perfectly? No. But I'm pretty sure it's said already a couple times where he's like, I am your righteousness. So, it's a heart condition. But you can't, you can't know what you gotta have a heart condition about if you don't know what we're turning to. Anyway, this is 41 minutes at this point. This is crazy. Sorry. Ezekiel been dropping in long passages. May Yahweh bless you and guard you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahweh lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I myself shall bless them. Shalom, shalom.